Itaewon, a well-known district in Seoul, South Korea, infamous for its dark alleys and buzzing nightlife, was no stranger to the odd scare now and then. The area was predominantly inhabited by foreigners, owing to the nearby American military base. Koreans in the 90s often avoided it, especially at night. The grisly murder of Jong-pil in 1997 only added fuel to this flames of fear. Jong-pil was a 22-year-old college student with a pristine reputation. Adored by his friends, cherished by his parents, and loved by his girlfriend, he was the type of person who seemed to only spread joy. On the night of April 3, 1997, Joe and his girlfriend had been out on a date. As the clock struck 10 p.m., Joe realized he needed to use the bathroom. The closest option was a nearby Burger King, a 4-story building with a nightclub occupying the topmost floor. The couple entered, and while Joe headed to the restroom, his girlfriend waited, sipping a drink she had just ordered. Minutes turned into anxious seconds as Joe failed to return. Concerned, she went to check on him, only to find her beloved collapsed in a pool of his own blood. Despite her desperate attempts to save him, Joe was already gone, having succumbed to 9 stab wounds to the neck. The senseless murder of such a well-liked individual baffled the public and authorities alike. Initial investigations led an American military investigator to a tip-off about a teenager named Arthur Patterson. Arthur's father worked at the military base, and his mother was Korean. Arthur had a history of criminal behavior and had prior run-ins with the law both in Korea and the United States. That fateful night, Arthur had been at the nightclub with his friends. Feeling peckish, they descended to the Burger King. The investigation grew murkier as Arthur claimed he and his friends were drunk and had started playing a dangerous game of truth or dare, during which he had shown off a knife. Edward Lee, another 17-year-old, confessed that he had dared Arthur, who then followed Joe to the restroom and carried out the murder. Edward eventually turned himself in but accused Arthur of the stabbing. Both boys pointed fingers, creating a web of confusion. The American investigator handed the case over to the Korean police, who administered a polygraph test. Arthur passed the test, while Edward failed, resulting in Edward receiving a 20-year sentence. Arthur served just a year for weapon possession. Arthur was released, only to flee Korea, and Edward appealed to the Supreme Court, leading to his acquittal due to insufficient evidence. In 2009, a film about the case rekindled public interest, pushing for a re-examination. By 2012, with renewed vigor, authorities reopened the investigation. However, Arthur had already slipped back to the United States. It took 3 years and evolving forensic technologies before Arthur's DNA was conclusively matched to the crime scene. In 2015, Arthur Patterson was finally sentenced to 20 years behind bars, bringing a semblance of closure to the harrowing Itaewon murder story.